Who peed in the chair?
Sorry, that's my fault.
What is that?
You can.
Is it nastiness?
It's sweat at the worst. I'm pretty sure it's just sweat.
Okay.
I was sitting there before, so I didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't pee my pants in the process.
Okay. Well, I hope not.
It's all good.
I've probably sat in worse.
I imagine you have 30 years of nursing. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
I guess.
Okay. Hey everybody, this is Jared Escalada, and this is episode number 20 of Thrive TV. This week we're on a roll, and we're going to finish up the week with Miss Trevi, who is going to tell us about carbohydrates. The scary word. The scary word.
Scary word. The scary macronutrient.
The scary macronutrient.
So this will be the start of the macronutrient.
That we talked about last week.
Yeah, series.
I'm glad we're getting into this. So this will be the beginning. We'll talk about carbs this week, and next week will either be fats or proteins, and then the week after that we'll finish up whichever one's left over. So let's go ahead and get started. How's that sound?
Okay, so the first thing that I want to discuss is the definition of what a macronutrient is. So when you hear us refer to macros or a macronutrient, you'll understand what that means. So that's an essential part, there's three of them, essential part or nutrient that we need to take in a large amount, large in quotation marks, daily for our survival. And a carbohydrate is one of the three macronutrients. And a carb is any food that contains sugar, starches, or fiber, And carbohydrates are important to us as living organisms because it's essential for life. It's a fuel source for our central nervous system and also an energy source for working muscles, which our muscles work every day just walking and living. So there is a recommended by the dietary guidelines of the United States, a daily requirement that they recommend, which is roughly 130 grams of carbs. But that's not considering the fact that our bodies are able to create a glucose or carbohydrate source out of the proteins and the fats that we also take in if those are adequate. So 130 grams I think sounds high. And
the other thing it doesn't take into account is like you work out 4 days a week. The person that sits next to you at work works out 0 days a week.
Right.
And they have less muscle mass, and the person that sits next to them, why are you smiling?
Because we're going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
Let's go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. No, you
well, and then the person that sits next to them, they might work out twice a week.
Right.
And they have a little more muscle mass than that guy. So all those things are taken into account when it comes to what you should actually be doing.
Right. So everybody basically has a different carbohydrate need. It's not something that's regimented that you have to get this certain amount in every single day. So like Jerry said, body size plays a factor in that, your activity level, what you're doing on a daily basis, how many workout sessions you do a week, how much you lay around on the couch and watch TV impacts that.
How hard your workouts are.
Right, how intense they are.
What type of workout.
Your muscle mass is important because your muscles store glycogen, which is a byproduct of your carbohydrate breakdown. So everybody's got different needs based on all of those things. So I want to talk about, there's two types of carbohydrates.
I think it was hiding you a little bit.
Was it? Okay, so there's two types of carbohydrates. Simple, I'm going to give you different names. They are also known as processed carbohydrates, or you may be more familiar with the glycemic index listing of carbohydrates, whether simple carbohydrates are technically higher on the glycemic index scale. So they're all the processed food that we eat is pretty much a simple carbohydrate. Sodas, breakfast cereals, white bread, those are all simple. Then you have complex carbohydrates, which sit lower on the glycemic index scale. They're most often unprocessed, more in their natural state. That makes up like vegetables. Fruits are a little bit different. You'll see some people classify fruit as a simple carbohydrate because there is a lot of sugar in there, but also the whole fruit has fiber and vitamins.
So it depends on what state it's in.
What state it's in. So if you are drinking orange juice, that's been just the juice and it doesn't have any of the pulp in it, then that's really more of a simple carbohydrate.
Right. Well, even if it has the pulp in it.
Mm-hmm.
So the juice is the simple carbohydrate.
Right.
The pulp may be the fiber portion of it. But the juice is still going to react differently. The pulp being in there doesn't make a huge difference if it's in the juice or not.
So, right. So like if you wanted to eat an orange out of its real state peeled, there's a ton more fiber visible in that. So that is not going to react the same way in your body as a glass of orange juice will. So those are kind of the different. Oatmeal is another one. Steel cut oats are better for you technically than rolled oats because of the way they're cut and processed. So those are the two different types of carbohydrates mainly in our lives. So let's talk about the digestion and metabolism of carbohydrates. The breakdown of carbohydrates technically starts in the mouth. There's a enzyme that we secrete in our saliva that if we chew our food thoroughly, works on breaking down the carbohydrates the minute you put them in your mouth. If you we talked about eating slower, you want to allow those to start that breakdown so that you can digest the food better. So don't chew your food really fast and swallow it. You haven't permitted your digestion process to begin where it needs to, which is in your mouth. After it goes, you chew it up, it goes down into your intestines and it goes to your liver. Your liver takes out of the carbohydrate what it needs for the energy transfer and then sends the rest of it out to your general circulation to be picked up by your cells and your muscles.
What is it stored as in your liver?
Glycogen.
Glycogen in your liver?
Right, same way as in your muscles. Now what I want to point out about that is we have very limited capability of storing glycogen in your liver and your muscles. So imagine that you have a suitcase in there, and once that is filled, your glycogen level is restored, then the rest gets sent out into your body. And say you're a healthy person, you don't have any insulin resistance, your cells are going to take up some for energy, but then anything left over is going to be sent straight to fat storage. Mm-hmm. For the next time maybe you miss a meal or you don't eat the way you're supposed to, then your body can hopefully slowly pull from your fat stores to keep your energy level up. So that's the problem. We have limited capability of storing carbs, but we have unlimited capability of storing fat. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that we need to find the balance with. So like I recently wrote a post about the insulin spike that occurs when you take in carbohydrates. So let's go back to the two different kinds. So a simple carbohydrate is broken down rapidly and sent right into your bloodstream, causing your insulin to shoot up and spike to try to bring that down. Our body prefers to keep our blood sugar stable, and the insulin is secreted by your pancreas. So if you are constantly running around with an elevated blood sugar from eating all these simple carbohydrates, your pancreas is working overtime trying to stabilize that. A complex carbohydrate, because of the fiber attached in there and the way it's strung together, goes into your bloodstream. It takes longer to digest, so therefore it goes in slower to your bloodstream and won't cause that huge insulin spike and your pancreas to have to work so hard to bring it down. So somebody who lives on a simple carbohydrate diet is going to eventually develop insulin resistance over time. You just become less sensitive to the insulin that your body can create, and even if it's being able to create enough to squeeze out to try to bring down that blood sugar. So insulin resistance is what eventually leads to diabetes and a lot of the chronic diseases that we have nowadays. So that's the digestion and metabolism of carbohydrates and the difference. So the benefits of complex carbohydrates is they're higher in vitamins and antioxidants and all of those good things that we need to take in. They're higher in fiber, and fiber helps keep you satisfied. It's what helps your gut stay healthy and regular, and you have more satiety on complex carbohydrates because of that slower digestive process they go through. And we talked last week about higher thermic effect of the food you eat. You get a higher burn taking in complex carbohydrates. Your body has to work a little bit harder, so you're supporting your metabolism. And the last thing is that you get a better blood sugar control.
So with any carbohydrate or any food with fiber in it, or whenever you eat foods and you have fiber with your food, it slows down the processing of it.
Right.
Which means slowing down the insulin response to it, which means possibly storing less fat.
Yes. Right. Because if you are becoming insulin resistant, you're not only probably not being able to create enough insulin to go out there. Your cells, the insulin that your pancreas releases unlocks your cells to take in the glucose. So if you are developing insulin resistance, then your cells aren't responding to that insulin that's out there, and they're not allowing that to come into the cell to be utilized for what it needs to be done. It's just left out in your general circulation, which is not a good thing.
However, and I don't know if you're going to make this point or not, that doesn't mean you can eat a ton of complex carbs and not get fat.
No, because remember, you have limited capability to store it.
Right.
So when should you eat simple carbohydrates? Because there is a time that, and when I say simple, I'm not talking candy bars. I'm talking like a more simple, healthier carbohydrate is
like a fruit.
Like a fruit, right? Is and you might have to take this over at this point because I don't know that we agree on what intense exercise is. But when you should eat a simple carbohydrate is after you have done a carb depleting workout, which, how I've been told, is 60 minutes or longer, and you have to sweat doing it. So what do you think about that? To help them understand.
I don't think that duration really matters. I think that you can get a carb depleting workout in 10 minutes if you really want to, but it's how are you doing it? It's going to be a lot harder for you to get it in 10 minutes. Not everyone can do it in 10 minutes. However, certain people I think can do it in 10 minutes. I don't think that that's I'm not saying that that's realistic. I'm not saying go work out for 10 minutes and you're good. I'm not saying that. I think 60 minutes is a great number for everyone to shoot for, and I think that in order to make sure that you're working out hard enough and to get full aspects of exercise, mobility, stretching, and things like that, so you want to fit it all in, then yes, you want to be able to deplete. And no, I don't think that sweat really has to do with anything either, because sweat's just what is sweat?
Water.
So sweat doesn't really, it can be negative 20 degrees outside, you're not going to sweat, but your body's still burning energy because it's trying to warm itself up, right?
Right.
Because you're cold wherever you are. I mean, not that we're going to work outside in negative 20 degree weather, but if you're cold, it has to warm itself up. So it's going to burn energy just trying to do that. So I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm not saying that it's right. I think that 60 minutes is definitely a good place to be. Sweating is always better. Because not only that, but you get rid of toxins and you get rid of a lot of other things. Right. So that's always the goal. You want sweat. And yes, 60 minutes is better than 10. But I think that you can do it in 10 minutes. It would be really hard again. It would be really hard and it'd be really miserable. But you could do it in a shorter amount of time. But it's not realistic. That's what I mean. Sustainably, yes, 45 to 60 minutes is definitely better.
So, for example, going out and taking a 2-mile leisurely walk is not the same carb depleting exercise as a weightlifting for 45 minutes to an hour.
Correct. Because the leisurely walk, you're not expending as much energy. You're walking for, how long does it take you to walk for, what did you say, 2 hours or 2 miles?
2 miles.
Okay, sorry. 2 miles, it takes you to, half an hour to walk that?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. So if it takes you half an hour to walk 2 miles, you'll be lucky if you spend 100 calories doing that.
Right.
And how much, you're not going to, not a significant amount of that is going to be glycogen. So
maybe a better judge is your breathing for an intense.
Breathing is, yes.
I
like
think
that,
might be a better way to judge how hard you're working. So you want to be, out of breath.
Yes.
Not being able to talk.
Right. But it has to be an up and down type of out of breath. It can't be just like get up and stay up type of breath.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people want to do, and why a lot of people we've had a lot of conversations about rest and why do we rest so long?
Right.
Because you like to work out hard. And so do a lot of other people in this gym. They want to work out hard, and we work out hard. But recently we made some changes, and I've made everybody rest longer, and it kills some of them. And they don't understand. And I say, well, you have to come up, and then you have to come down, and then you have to go back up, and then you have to go back down. If you really want to get it, you have to make your heart work. And that's really where you get, like you said, the breath aspect of burning glycogen and the link there.
Right.
So
the reason that you want to
great
earn
question,
your...
by the way.
Oh,
I like that.
nice answer. The reason you want to work hard like that is because you want to deplete those little suitcases in your muscles and your liver. You want to deplete that out so that after you've done a workout like that is when your insulin sensitivity is at its highest and your liver and muscle uptake of glucose is the most rapid, so that you won't have those things, that extra simple carbohydrates sitting out circulating in your bloodstream with nowhere to go but to the fat tank.
Did you just point at me when you said that?
No. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that's why I always recommend, and I do this myself, is I earn my carbohydrates through my training. So that kind of keeps me motivated. Not that I need a lot of that to stay working out, but it's something that, I associate working out with eating a sweet potato at night with dinner. So wrap this all up. Managing your blood sugar and your insulin is important to improve your health, your body composition, and performance. So you need to look at the types of carbohydrates you're eating, the two types, simple and complex. You want to, by far, eat more complex carbohydrates than you want simple ones in your diet. And if you balance that, you should have success in losing weight or feeling better, whatever you're looking for.
All right, a couple things again real quick, and I know we just dabbled on a couple, but I went on that spiel, so maybe they missed it. So timing as far as eating, again, more simple carbs. You want to stick to after vigorous exercise.
Right.
And as far as just general timing of carbohydrate intake in general, I just said that a lot, general. Would you say that there's a better time to eat just carbohydrates?
And I recommend that they not be taken in first thing in the morning with your breakfast. I think that it's best to wait until the afternoon and later in the day to take in carbohydrates. You're allowing your natural hormonal balance to play out because we wake up as fat-burning machines from being in a fasting state since our last meal. So you want those hormones to just do their natural processes that they're meant to do and settle back down and let your body do what it's meant to do.
And all those metabolic hormones are at their highest. All those anabolic hormones are at their highest in the morning. So whenever you have a carbohydrate in the morning and you release that insulin, that will
shut them off prematurely is what it does.
Yes.
So you don't want to do that. You want to just let them play out and do what they're meant to do to help you in your body composition.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say, but it flew out my head. So anyway.
Maybe the camera caught it. And
maybe so.
It'll play it.
I was waiting for you to ask me another question.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I do know what it was.
Yeah.
So the other thing you want to do with your carbohydrates, and I think we talked about this in one of the other episodes, is you want to put them with different foods. You want to combine them. So if you're eating a carbohydrate, you want to make sure that it's either attached to a fiber itself or it's attached with protein. Yeah. So
you're not eating. So you're not just eating an apple, or you're not just eating a piece of bread or you're not just eating oats.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Got it?
Nice job.
Thanks.
I like that.
Okay.
All right. Great information today. So we'll follow up next week with one of either fat or protein. We'll leave that a mystery for now. And if you guys have any questions for Trevis,
hit me up at Trevis@thriveforstrength.com. And then Facebook, Trevis Jansen, and Thrive Nutrition has a Facebook page.
Great. Or you can hit Thrive Fitness up on Twitter at the Thrive Pack. Thanks very much for watching.